All right, speaking of pissing somebody off and getting even. Good Lord, Roderick Strong, who is he pissed off? He's got to work a program with Dexter Lumis. And I liked Sam Shaw when I saw him as a rookie several years ago. I hate this Dexter Lumis gimmick. I said it before, and it's more boring now. You've heard of Shawn Michaels having a match with a ladder, according to Ric Flair. Roderick Strong just had a match with a leather belt. They did the horror movie video where Roddy's scared of car trunks, and I like horror type vignettes if it's just the guy and you're featuring the guy in it. You know, we did one for Leviathan here in OVW. They've done them for Undertaker. I did one for Kane, whatever the fuck. When the opponent is in the video kind of going along with it, like, oh yeah, he's driving me insane, I'm freaking out, he really is whatever the fuck, I'm losing my patience with it. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That nobody believes Dexter Lumis is a psychopath, because as we mentioned when we reviewed his last match, besides the fact that they're wanting him to work in a plodding, facially monotone manner, he ain't Terry Funk, or he ain't the Sheik. He can't just convince people with the look on his face and his body language that he's really goddamn lost it. It's just plodding. And I wrote down, you know, they're feeding Beth scripted horseshit about Roddy losing his sanity, and Blackface Ref is back. What's his name? I forgot. We figured this out one time. The referee that looks like he's wearing blackface.
I'm not sure.
Okay, go back and look, and you won't be able to look away again. This guy tans so deeply and so darkly in his face that where his hairline is, it looks like he's wearing blackface. It looks like he's permanently sooted his face. He's so fucking tan. Can you actually see the skin cancer cells multiplying in front of your eyes? What the fuck? It's distracting. Anyway, this was Roderick Strong. He did everything. He was all the action. He bumped. He sold. He fucking did everything off of Dexter Lumis and the strap. Dexter Lumis was neither crazy nor pissed off. He was just moving forward at a steady pace like he was underwater. Roddy had the match by himself and kept it going. The strap in a lot of cases got in the way. Dexter Lumis was not Wahoo. Roddy tried to use it. So Roddy tried everything, but this started going way long. I wrote here at one point, Loomis works like he's got a sleepwalker gimmick instead of a fucking psychopath gimmick. This was as close as I can describe to Roderick Strong actually having a match with a blow-up doll or inanimate object. And then Bobby Fish comes to ringside and trips Loomis up, and they get a 2 count, and then Loomis whips Roddy into Bobby and got Roddy to tap to a messed up hold of some description that I don't believe was applied like it was supposed to have been, because I wasn't sure what the fuck they were doing. And I wrote, whew, there you have it. Glad that's over. Poor Roddy. I mean, he needs some kind of fucking cup or major award or one of those fucking leg lamps like A Christmas Story or something for going through this whole thing. Am I missing something with what they're doing with Dexter Lumis?
I don't think so. Again, I've not watched too much NXT, but I wasn't a fan of this match. I'm not exactly a fan of what I've seen of Dexter Lumis so far. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
I mean, he looks good and he can work. It's just that they're telling him to do that. He's working like the Undertaker under the theory that he's this, you know, psycho serial killer, stalker, mental patient, whatever, you know, it ain't Michael Myers. Sorry. Anyway, from there, we get a package on what I'm looking forward to next week, Adam Cole and Keith Lee for the double title unification. I'm looking forward to it a little bit less after hearing, again, I hear Keith Lee speak. A guy that looks like the Hulk and speaks like an English professor. this verbiage especially from a big, bad, kick-ass, huge, giant, former fucking pro football player, he sounds flowery, scripted. Who would say these things? Who would talk like this? Cole sounded genuine. Even if they're scripting him too, he delivers it. He had some oomph to it. Keith Lee just kind of sits back and is very introspective with his comment. I mean, does it fit what you're looking at? I don't know.
No.
How can I say this?
No, he's not a very good promo. Or at least they're not giving him good material and they're forcing him to do the material.
Well, I mean, if you wanted to hear a guy that sounds like a fucking college professor, but looks like a goddamn, giant behemoth that would eat your fucking head off.
You have Luchasaurus on the other channel.
Oh, God. Well, we'll get to that here shortly. But it was a nice build for the match with the package. But, I would want to see Keith Lee do more Hulk smash and less, sounding like fucking Samantha Stevens' father, Maurice, in Bewitched. Anyway, then we go backstage. And by the way, that was noted Shakespearean actor Maurice Evans playing that role of Samantha Stevens' father. Anyway, backstage, Johnny Gargano, he of the monotone face, and Candice LeRae, she of the gray hair with the unknown girl, interviewer. And then LeRae runs and jumps Mia Yim, and Gargano shoved some other guy, and they had a big pull apart with all the referees, and every single one of the referees was taller than all the fucking talent. Holy shit. Then comes to the ring a group name that I could not understand nor pronounce when I saw it written, but it's Santos Escobar with Mendoza and Wild all in suits. And their story is that historic Lucha Libre has been turned into a sideshow with guys in masks doing flips for no reason. Join the fucking club, guys. It's the same way for y'all down there. Just hearing about this? It's an epidemic. It's a global pandemic. All wrestling has been turned into a joke sideshow with guys in masks doing flips. Anyway, Drake Maverick comes out and interrupts him in his neck brace, but he takes the neck brace off and jumps all three of them and got the shit kicked out of him because he ain't bigger than a hiccup. And here came Tyler Breeze and Fandango to make a rotten save where they kind of did some choreographed shit and the heels bailed. I mean, the heel Lucha group looked pretty good standing there in the suits. I'm interested to see, a little bit more about them. Drake Maverick, he was Rockstar Spud. I met the young man here. He's a very polite man, very wonderful kid. He's just painfully small, and I haven't seen what all they've done with him. I hear that he's quite a popular cult figure, but this is, I don't know that the historic Lucha Libre group is going to be immediately fed into the main events if they're interacting with Tyler Breeze, Fandango, and Drake Maverick. Did I miss anything about the Lucha group?
Not that I'm aware of. Again, I'm getting caught up with NXT like you are. But in terms of Drake Maverick, you got to remember, this is the painfully small era. So it works.
The PSE, the painfully small era. All righty. Well, that blonde girl has a name because Cameron Grimes called her Mackenzie. And I think she's that blonde interviewer that was in TNA a couple years ago when I stopped in for a week or so. But at least he called her by her name. So now somebody knows who she is. Cameron Grimes can talk a little bullshit. And this was halfway fun for about 45 seconds. It ended too quickly. It was actually something different with somebody doing something that sounded like a wrestler cutting a wrestling promo on a wrestling show. And guess what the main event was? Io Shirai versus Sasha Banks. This main evented week 1 of the Great American Bash. I wrote, Dusty spins in his grave, and I close up early. Good day to you. Wait, Great American Bash.
You didn't even watch the main event?
No, are you fucking? I watched the as much as I could tolerate of this whole show, and if they're going to give me Io Shirai and Sasha Banks as a fucking main event on what's supposed to be called the Great American Bash, fuck them. And besides that, what this should have been this should have been the Ladies Professional Wrestling Association, the LPWA, featuring several male co-stars or guest stars. Because it was practically a women's wrestling show with a couple of guys stuck in the middle. So, no, I didn't fucking watch it. Because, goddamn, I had more bad wrestling to watch on the other channel. If they'd have put that on first instead of the four-way girls abortion, I would have watched Io Shirai and Sasha Banks, and they'd have probably had a fairly decent match. But instead, I've seen 4 girls fucking do bullshit for 27 minutes, and then in my opinion, the best girl they got on the fucking roster works with a subpar manager and some underneath girl, and I'm going to watch another girls match? I think not.